Thank you very, very much. Okay, here we are. It's Lesson 1, Healthy for Life University. What I want to do today is I want to make sure that everyone realizes that this whole concept of the awakening, I really want to make sure that you realize what that means and kind of why we title Lesson 1, The Awakening. My awakening started very, very early on in my life. And I've had several as I've gone, as many of you probably can relate to that. You kind of have aha moments every now and then, or maybe often. But my awakening began as a 7-year-old watching my mother become diagnosed with leukemia. It was something I had no idea what it was and everything, and I was just a kid bouncing around on a farm and spending a lot of time with my dad, but also spending time with my mom in the kitchen and curious about that, and then all of a sudden she's sick. And I spent the next 3.5 years bouncing around almost every weekend to whatever hospital she was staying in, whether it was the University of Minnesota or whether it was down in Milwaukee at John Brown, just spending really all my weekends spending time with our mother, who was undergoing all kinds of various different treatments, bone marrow transplants and chemo and all that. So as a kid, I was able to connect with what I thought was reality really quick, which to me, reality was disease. I was told by everyone that I knew that this was just written into my mom's body. It was just something that was going to pop up at the age of 33, and it was gonna, there it was, cancer, okay? The awakening for me came at that time because I became conscious of health as a very, very young child. I also grew up from that point after my mom wasn't watching my meal plan, and she usually made my food for me and that type of a thing. I probably ate quite a bit more than I usually did, and I began to get morbidly obese as a very, very small child, all the way up to my senior year in high school, where I nearly topped 300 pounds. Now, I was a strength athlete, and I played football, was very active, but I was a big, big boy, and you can tell I'm not that tall, so that kind of weight doesn't really work for a frame like this. So I had a second awakening when I decided that I was going to find out why my body was like this, and I was going to make a change. And I, again, had a lot of people telling me that there was a situation going on where, because my mom was like this and my dad was like this, and look at all my uncles and aunts and grandparents and all this is how I'm just supposed to be. I have to get used to being husky. So I just need to become a really good shopper and find the tag that said husky on it. And I was just going to have to get used to that. Well, again, I didn't necessarily want to believe all that, so I went ahead, and in about 5 months before I graduated high school, I lost nearly 100 pounds. And everyone around me couldn't believe what happened because I was always big. Except for before, when my mom got sick, I was a skinny little rail on the farm. So it got me thinking again. Then I moved into my passion for health and wellness and began to have a lot of awakenings along the way as I saw the condition of medicine, the condition of the patients that were seeking medicine out, and how different the stories could be when they actually began to awaken to the truth about their body. So Lesson 1 is all about focusing on the truth that we have recently, actually in science, stumbled upon. As we've been looking so much towards disease, we stumbled upon the truth when it comes to how the body can actually heal itself and where all this disease is actually coming from. And I want to take Lesson 1 as an opportunity to share with you the awakenings that I've had along the way, as well as awakenings that I've watched thousands of other patients and people that I've worked with in my career up to this point, the awakenings that I've seen them have in their lives and families as well. So, the first thing we have to do in a process of awakening is we have to begin to evaluate ourselves. So what we need to do first is we need to think, what is my definition personally? What is my definition of health? What do I think health is? Now, I would sit in consults and I would have patients look at me and say, I am healthy, I feel good, my statin drug is controlling my cholesterol, my blood pressure medication, my beta blocker is controlling my blood pressure, and my diabetes medication is controlling my blood sugar. I'm doing good. I feel pretty good. But I was just kind of curious about what you guys were doing here. Can we all agree that that is not health? As an American people, we have become numb to disease being health, and then putting a chemical in the way to get in its way and calling that health as well. Here's what the World Health Organization defines as health. Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. How many people know the person, or maybe you are the person today, and it's okay, know the person who would more or less say the second part of that definition would apply more, the absence of disease, infirmity? Most people say, yeah, I'm healthy, I don't have anything going on right now. They're not actively going after health, but I don't have any symptoms, right? This has become normal. So right now we need to evaluate, we need to set up our definition of health, and we need to look to reshape that if it needs reshaping. Maybe some of you are here. Maybe complete physical, mental, and social well-being is already your repertoire. That's where you're at, and that's great. If it's not, if your definition of health up to this point has been merely an absence of disease, we're going to have to change that, because you'll find out as we go throughout this course that will not serve you well, and it will actually lend itself to an awful lot of problems which you're actually seeing happen in our society right now. So the health potential scale. We developed this health potential scale because it really gives you a very clear picture of what is going on and what groups are out there. Okay, so this will kind of help you frame up your definition of health as well. The first side, this is where the majority of Americans sit. I know it's sad, but statistically, the majority of Americans are in this class. Chronic disease management. The healthcare system in the United States of America is here. A catcher's mitt for disease. Hospitals grow, clinics grow, doctors grow their practices when sickness is consumed by the system. It's very important to remember this. This is not a bashing of the system. It's simply bringing it up and taking a real look at it. And that's what we have to do in this session. Chronic disease management would be managed with meds. You're having to have procedures done to keep your life going, that type of a thing. You're managing, you're sitting in disease, and it's just continuing to manifest itself every day. The second part of this scale is right in the middle. And if the majority is in the chronic disease management side, the next majority is in the no symptoms of disease category. Basically hoping not to catch something, but completely fine with just going about their lives because they're busy, they don't have time to pay attention to their body. It's just great, I don't have symptoms today. So that's right in the middle, that's zero. And most people are just really happy to be there. The green is where all the Healthy for Life University students are, or at least you're headed. This is the area of this scale where you're thriving, where you have enough energy, vitality to truly enjoy all aspects of life. And you're paying attention to your health. Every day that you're awake, health is on your mind. It's a part of who you are. It doesn't mean you're obsessing about it, but it also doesn't mean that you're taking advantage of your health as it is and not paying attention to it. You're daily, actively making sure that you're supporting your body so that it can thrive. Okay? Those are the three classes. Where are you right now? Be honest. It's okay. Where are you? Make sure you know where you are, because you have to know the score to change it. Okay? So rate yourself on that health potential scale. Pick a number, whether it's somewhere in the minuses or in the zero or in the middle, or maybe you're even on your way to the thriving side of it. Pick a number so you know where you are. This is a number you will reference in the future. Okay? Now what I want you to do is list a few things that are most important to you in your life. They don't have to be health. What are the things that come to your mind, a couple things that are most important to you? Write those down. Now, as you're writing, and maybe some of you are done, but as you're writing, you need to ask yourself, are these things that I'm writing down affected by my personal health? Are the things that are most important to you impacted in any way by your personal health? And I'll give an example of this. Perhaps some of you have children. And you look at your child and you say, that child is one of the most important things in my world. The question in this statement here is that child affected by your personal state of health? By who you are as a person? Can anyone say yes to that? Can we agree on that? Resoundingly, yes. And whatever you fill the blank in with, whatever's most important to you. Some of you, your career is very, very important to you. To me, my career is extremely important. One of the most important things in my life. Because my career is also who I am as a person. And it's my mission in life as well. I just get to do it as a career, which makes me a very, very fortunate person. And if your career is there, does my personal health affect my career? Does it affect my ability to make money? Does it affect my ability to provide for my family? A resounding yes. I don't think that we could put anything in that space and say that it's not directly impacted, significantly impacted by our personal state of health. And the reason that I'm asking this question and framing it up like this is because today, as we're here talking about the awakening, it's important to realize that health isn't just an annoying subject that some speaker comes in and talks to us about on Lunch and Learns, and we go to so we get our little bit of a premium off on our health insurance from our employer. Real health impacts our life every day, and it touches the most important things in our lives every day. So the reason we are now going to pay attention to it, and the reason you're here, is because you are going to build a foundation of knowledge underneath health so that you can make sure that the health in your life is positively influencing the most important things in your life, not taking away from them, not taking from them. Okay? Does that make sense? Can we agree on that? Okay. So, 3 things I want you to think about. By the end of this lesson, I want you to challenge your own personal definition of health. Put it through some fire. If it comes out the other end and survives, good. That means you can be confident that the way you've thought of health in the past is good. If it doesn't stand, great. Now you can rebuild it. Secondly, challenge the beliefs you have about your body. Many of you may not even consciously know about it, but a lot of us have very negative beliefs about our body. We believe our body is broken. We have a lot of things wrong with us. Hopefully here in a few minutes you'll find out that your body is not broken and it was designed actually to correct itself as soon as you're ready. And number 3, I want to challenge your belief about what is true and what the truth is. Because can we all agree with the statement of, just because I believe it's true doesn't mean it is? Right? We've all had beliefs that we very much thought were true that we came to find out absolutely were not true. And what I'm finding, and what many of my colleagues are finding, is the vast majority of Americans hold a significant amount of false beliefs about health and about their body, and it's destroying them. So, we're going to use this course, hopefully, to open up a huge can of worms on your beliefs. And then what I want that to do is I want it to keep you open-minded as you go through this course and hear a lot of things that are going to be very contrary to what you've heard professionals say for years and years and years. Okay? So first, I want to talk a little bit about the concept of holistic. This matters in the awakening, because when you want to redefine health and make sure that your definition of health is true, then it needs to be grounded in the thought of being holistic. And what holistic is, and let's just look at the technical definition for a second, emphasizing the importance of the whole and the interdependence of its parts. Meaning, my heart is no more important than my brain, which is no more important than my vascular system, which is no more important than my skeletal system. You have to look at your body holistically. Most of us have been taught to look at symptoms, which points us to a part of the body, and then we treat that part of the body as if it's somehow separate from the rest, which has caused us a lot of problems when it comes to how we look at treating symptoms. Okay? And the other side of that definition is being concerned with the wholes rather than the analysis or separation of its parts. You will find that the vast majority of people in the integrative medical community are moving and have adopted this definition of holistic into their definition of what they consider healthy with their patients. Okay? So this is very, very important, being concerned with the whole. When you have a headache, realizing that it's not just your head. There's something, your whole body's involved in what's going on right now, and it's making sure that you take care of and pay attention to all of it. Okay? So what are all the holistic areas of true health? They're pretty simple. We'll run through them. A lot of you may think that we missed some here, but really, to simplify it, this should cover absolutely everything in your life. Should be included here. Number 1, nutritional. And these are in no specific order, okay? Nutrition. Anything that goes in your mouth is considered nutritional, okay? It can be gum, it can be water, it can be a cough drop. It's all going in your mouth. It's putting an influence inside your body, okay? Nutritional. 2, spiritual. I guess the easiest way to define this when it comes to spiritual is your connectedness to your source, the level of faith in which you walk every day. Do you feel safe every day, or do you fear? Do you fear the world you live in? It's a very basic way to measure spiritual health. Physical activity. How do you move your body? Or not move your body. Okay? This isn't Biggest Loser style exercise. This is movement of your body, natural movement. Exercise can be included, but this is also other activities. Psychological and emotional. This encompasses every thought, belief, or perception you have about the world. Your psychological and emotional health is every thought, belief, or perception that you have about the world today. And then the last part of this is environmental. And this doesn't mean hugging trees and sitting around in circles, growing our hair out long. Okay, environmental specifically is all things that you come into contact with or that you experience on a day-to-day basis with any one or more of your senses. If you see something, it's part of your environment today. If you touch it, if you smell it, if you taste it, it is part of your environment. And this is one area that we have missed for decades when it comes to this conversation of health. And you will learn about how environmental influences and how you can use the environment to be a positive influence. Okay, so without using all of these areas to increase your health, it's going to be impossible to achieve your full life potential. Again, take those things that are most important to you, and if we do not have all of those areas in consideration when we're working on our health, we will not reach our full potential with those things we most care about. Can't happen.